I can't give you guys something on the nervous system if I'm subluxated.
It's gone.
That's what I'm waiting on. There's 3 chiropractors sitting around here.
Oh, whiny. All right, so. Oh, yeah.
Yes! Let's do this.
Nice. All right.
All right, guys. So today is the one that I might nerd out on a little bit. So if I get a little bit out of control, please say, Dr. Andrew, shut your mouth. All right? I'm going to try to keep it simple, trying to have some action steps here. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to optimize that nervous system today. What's the purpose, guys? What are we trying to accomplish here?
Health.
What?
Ultimate health.
Ultimate health for each one of you guys. That's the small term picture. Large term, you know you have that, you have something in your head, right?
No, but I do now.
No problem, just a little silly there.
Eventually I gotta take it off.
So, that's so the short term picture is you guys becoming masters of your health. Medium term picture, you guys educating others. Large picture, creating a shift. Creating a paradigm shift in the way we view healthcare, and that is taking proactive steps through the Max Living 5 Essential Model. So guys, we're going to serve that vision, and it's going to become a reality. If you can see it in your mind, if you can see yourself healthy, if you can see yourself living an epic life, it means it's achievable. Whatever the mind can conceive, your body can achieve. So we've gone over the hump, guys. Now we have 3 lessons left. Recap. We learned week 1 what the 5 essentials mean to total health and well-being. Week 2, we learned that there's nothing to fear. That when you are living a 5 essential model, that there's no reason to fear a virus or a bacteria, right? Week number 3, we learned that if we change our environment, we can create an environment that is not conducive to cancer. One that says, you know what, get out of here. You can't exist here. Guys, today is all about the nervous system. Because what controls everything? What controls everything in the body? The brain does. So guys, quick neuroanatomy lessons. Now in chiropractic school, I took basic neuroanatomy, advanced neuroanatomy, advanced neurophysiology, basic neurophysiology, and a bunch of other neuro classes. I don't think you guys want a neuroanatomy course today, right? So we're going to keep it really simple. General brain anatomy. We have the frontal lobe. That's in charge of executive function. So it's in charge of anything you can think, conscious thinking. Then we have the parietal lobe. This is on the side. This is for pain and sensory. Temporal lobe. That's going to be hearing, memories. And the occipital lobe, that's going to be seeing. So the first lobe is all executive functioning, all thinking. The next 3 after that, that's going to be all sensory inputs to the brain. So the way that I like to think of the brain is as of a super antenna. Now we know we have antennas on our phones. We have antennas, well, I guess we don't have antennas on our TVs anymore. But we have a bunch of antennas, radios in our car. And all these antennas have they're all specific. They pick up specific frequencies, right? Well, the brain's a little different because, like, let's say a TV can't pick up a radio frequency from that a phone would pick up. They're all a little different. Well, the cool thing about your brain is that it's picking up all these different sensory informations from the outside, from the inside, but then it has a supercomputer built into that antenna to then coordinate everything that's going on. Well, we have subluxations that create interference. So let's think that we're on our phone and we have bad signal. So there's not a good signal there. You can still hear people coming in and out. You're losing them, but you can still hear bits and pieces of what they're saying. That's sort of what a subluxation is. You're getting some of the signals, but you can't quite hear them. What did you say again? Hold on. That's not a adequate form of communication, is it? So the subluxation is an interference. It's a chronic stress It's your brain's losing its ability to function at 100%. And guys, the brain communicates through what? The spine. Through the spine, your brain sends electrical signals and communicates to every single organ, cell, tissue in your body. Your body functions through electricity. Now, it's common to think in the medical model, for example, that hormones control everything. You've probably heard that before, right? You probably have friends and families that think that hormones are what controls everything. Your mood. Yeah. They think that we run through blood. It's electricity. Because in your brain exists an area called the hypothalamic pituitary axis. We'll just call it HPA to be short. In that area, it's actually it's pretty cool. So you have electricity communicating to a hormonal area. So the brain is controlling all hormones being released too. Now, guys, this is from not the founder, but the guy who developed chiropractic. His father founded it by adjusting a deaf person. He started making more discoveries, and then this guy took it and ran with it. It's sort of like how Benjamin Franklin discovered electricity, and then Edison, he did what? He ran with it after that. So this was this guy, and he said, nature needs no help, just no interference. So guys, a recap of last week, we talked about macrophages, apoptosis. Your body is constantly recycling, remaking new cells. To the point where up to this week, research I read made me believe that due to the recycling and remaking of new cells, that every 7 years, we're a completely different human. But research has actually came out and said at the end of a year, so 1 year, by the time your body recycles dead cells, dead organelles, and creates new ones, by the end of 1 year, you're actually a whole new human. New cells, new organs, everything. So if we know the body can repair and create heart cells, lung cells, digestive cells, the question is then why would something like cancer, diabetes, heart disease exist? There's something going on. There's an interference to your body expressing its full health potential. So we're going to get that back. How are we going to remove that interference?
Get adjusted.
Getting adjusted. Say it together.
Get
adjusted. Here's what we're adjusting though. Now I want you guys to get this here because a lot of you, we talked about it last week, that we have friends, family members that have been to the chiropractor before and they say, I've already gone to the chiropractor, that doesn't work. Or like, you believe in that stuff? I love when people say that to me because I'm like, you know what? I don't believe in it. It's like gravity. It works every time. It's a law. The nervous system controls everything. So here's what we can tell our friends and family members. We all know this. We have a normal body temperature, 98.6 degrees. If you have too low or too high of a body temperature, we know that's not good for us. We know that we have a normal blood pressure, 120/80. If you're too high or too low on that, it's not good for you. We know we have different blood values. So we know if we're too high in one direction or too low in another direction, that's a sign of disease. We know that everything in human physiology has ranges of normal, and the spine is no different. In the spine, what's normal? What's optimal?
45 degrees.
45, 45, 45, and straight from the front. Too much or too little is called what? A subluxation that decreases your health potential. We detect this through an x-ray. Just like how you get blood work done, you have a blood pressure cuff, we detect normal through x-rays. So when people say, I don't need that, I feel fine, you have to have 60% damage before you even see it. Now guys, when it comes to seeing subluxations on x-rays, every single medical doctor, every single person you know knows how bad pressure on a nerve hurts them. When we were children in middle school per se, we would line up and probably either a gym teacher or a school nurse, we would do a bend over test and they were searching for what? Scoliosis. Why are they so concerned about scoliosis?
It's not good for you.
If you go to the medical doctor and they take an x-ray and their spine looks like this, the medical doctor's gonna be concerned, right? because there's pinching pressure on a nerve right there. Scoliosis is known to take 15 to 18 years off of somebody's life. Now, to put that into comparison to something like diabetes, diabetes is known to take 12 to 15 years off of somebody's life. We all know how bad diabetes is for us, right? But who's talking about scoliosis? Now, the reason they're so concerned about that is due to the pressure on the nerve. The reason that people die of scoliosis most commonly is due to cardiovascular complications, due to the nerves being pressed on. So every single medical doctor knows this is bad for you. They know pressure on a nerve decreases health. The thing about scoliosis, though, a few things. First of all, it has to be a 10-degree curve before they diagnose it. So if they measure it at 9 degrees, they're not concerned about it. Do you think the pressure on that nerve just goes away all of a sudden from 10 degrees to 9 degrees?
No.
No. Now this is one thing I want you guys to get, is that commonly, we look at x-rays. When looking at x-rays, sometimes we say, you know what, it's not that bad. I'm at 42 degrees, I'm almost at 45, it's not that bad. My spine's pretty straight from the front, it's not that bad. We downplay subluxation. Would you ever say, I just have a little bit of cancer, it's all right. I just have a little bit of heart disease, it's all right. It doesn't, I've seen hundreds of x-rays. Some people come in with terrible pain patterns, and their x-rays aren't as bad as somebody else. The thing is that guys, any subluxation is not good. Now when it comes to somebody having cancer, heart disease, do we treat cancer or heart disease in this office?
No.
But is that person gonna be better if they have subluxations or with subluxations?
Without it.
Without subluxations. We can never downplay a subluxation. We can never say it's not that bad. We're almost there, you know what? So I can miss my adjustment, I can not do my home care because it's getting better. Everything's looking good, I'm perfect. What happens the moment you're perfect and you stop doing what you were doing prior? It goes right back to where it was before. This is a serious issue, we cannot downplay it. Now remember what I was saying about the scoliosis here. Remember that test I was talking about that we do in schools? You have to have, now in chiropractic school I call this the too late test. Because you have to have a 20-degree curve before you even see it on that test. And I just said it has to be 10 degrees in order for you to diagnose it. So what's the most accurate way to get a diagnosis with that?
X-ray.
An x-ray. This is why I have a mission to serve every single person in the world. And the way that we get rid of scoliosis, cancer, heart disease, these things, is by identifying scoliosis, but subluxation, as soon as possible. So that's with getting kids x-rays when they're, as soon as they, because I would like to say 1 year old, but a kid's not gonna sit still for an x-ray at 1. But as soon as they can sit still for x-rays, we wanna identify subluxation so we can then correct it. Make sense? So guys, the proper functioning releases potential and balances adrenaline. You're living your full health potential. If there's, now remember I said never downplay scoliosis or a subluxation at all. Because what happens is, if there's just a little bit of subluxation in there, your potential is decreased. And always remember this, there's an abundance of potential within each and every living being. So why would you want to decrease that, shut that off? So the curves in the spine, the 45, 45, 45. The top curve in the neck has actually been termed as the arc of life. This was by neuroscientist Alfred Breed. So I want you guys to highlight something. At 45 degrees, I want you guys to go like this for me. Do you see how squishy this area is here in your hand? That's like your spinal cord. Nice, fat, and it allows for the free flow of potential, not just electricity, health potential to flow through the spine to every single organ, cell, tissue in your body. Now let's say we subluxate ourselves, decrease that. You see what happens to that squishy area now? There's tension on it. This is like pulling a rubber band apart. It becomes thinner. We cut off the potential flowing through the rest of your body. When we decrease that potential, we're going to activate either one nervous system or the other. We have the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the rest and digest nervous system. This is where health and healing happens. We want to be in the parasympathetic state. On the opposite end, we have a sympathetic state, fight or flight. This shuts down the body. Now, the fight or flight's not bad. If I see a cougar on a trail that I'm hiking, yes, I want the sympathetic to kick in so I can get away from that cougar. We need the sympathetics, but there needs to be balance going on. What state do you think most of your friends and family live in?
Parasympathetic.
The sympathetic state.
Or sympathetic.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The people that are succumbing to the coronavirus, what state do you think they're in chronically? Sympathetic. Now, this is directly correlated to the alignment of your spine. Think of who has cats in here? Nobody has cats?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, you guys have all been around cats before. What happens when a cat gets scared? They go like this, right? Same thing happens to us. When the sympathetics kick in, our spine relaxes forward, and that shuts down all parasympathetic function and puts us in a sympathetic state. What spinal alignment do most people have most of the time? Like this, hunched forward, from sitting on cars, being stressed out, emotionally stressed out, slips, falls. So this sympathetic nervous system is chronically being elevated. So which one do you want to be in? Which one do you want the world to be in? Remember, this is about changing the world. We need to activate that nervous system. So here's what now we're going to highlight something called exosomes. Dr. Ray's been harping exosomes this week. I'm sure you guys heard him talk about it if you came in. So an exosome, this is really cool. So we have, an exosome is an area within the cell. What happens is, let's say we have a healthy liver cell. You have these baby cells, which aren't a liver cell yet. They're known as stem cells. They bump up with the healthy liver cell. That information is then sent to the stem cell, and it becomes a healthy liver cell. A virus, coronavirus, it inserts itself into a cell through DNA, and it almost disguises itself as one of the cells. So when that then bumps into another cell, the exosomes then produce more coronavirus. That's the bad part of it. What really gets ugly is what happens is what your immune system is like, all right, something's going on here, we're gonna go fight this sucker. It goes there, and what happens is if your immune system's not strong, when it goes to fight the exosome inserts itself in the immune system. Now the immune system starts turning on itself, starts shutting down. So if your immune system is chronically in a sympathetic state, it's not able to show up to the fight. It's like showing up to a gunfight with a knife almost, is what's happening if we have a subluxation. Nutrition. We have to give our body the right nutrition. We have to nourish our cells, nourish our nervous system. So guys, exosomes, we're gonna go back to it. Remember, they're bumping into one another, spreading. Where does the immune system lie? In the gut. So if we give our immune system the right materials, the coronavirus gets into here, it spreads in. It starts spreading, the immune system's prepped. It's ready to go, machine guns, it's got tanks ready to go. Then it shows up and this little guy's there and they're like, what is this? Just knocks it out of the way. It's no big deal if we have the right nourishment and we have 0 subluxations. Our microbiome. This is the team. We got to support these guys. So we want a bigger, stronger army. We want the right nourishment within the gut. The gut is where 70% of the immune system lies. And within that, we have good bacteria and bad bacteria. What do we call good bacteria? Probiotics. The probiotics actually work with us. So they see the bad guys, like, I'm going to eat that guy. I'm going to save the immune system a little bit. Then once they become overwhelmed, they start signaling neurotransmitters to the brain saying, all right, we need to start fighting this. Then the immune system's kicked in. So we're going to make our army as strong as possible. We need to add probiotics to there. We also have a supplement known as Enterovite. Because remember, you have the good guys and you have the bad guys. And the bad guys really aren't that bad if they're in the right ratio. What happens is we live a standard American diet, which is an acronym for SAD. We have a SAD diet. We're feeding the bad guys. We're taking stuff like antibiotics, which antibiotics only kill the the bad guys, but they kill the good guys too. And which ones grow back first?
The bad guys.
The bad guys. The enterovite is formulated to go into the gut, kill all the bad guys. It's also formulated to decrease inflammation because we don't want inflammation within the gut. So we're going to kill the bad guys, we're going to decrease inflammation, and we're going to put more of the good guys in here. Minimizing toxins. Now, some of those toxins, they might include the antibiotics, medications, which alter your gut flora. But cosmetics. We have phtalates, I can't even pronounce that one. Polyphenol glycols, parabens, just these harmful toxins, which they're known as endocrine disruptors. So they mimic hormones. So that they bind to a receptor site, and remember that HPA axis I was talking about in the brain? Your body thinks it doesn't have to produce hormones. So then it becomes stressed out. Then we have these bunch of, all these toxins in here, household cleaners too. And these are actually able to pass something known as the blood-brain axis, blood-brain barrier. Once it gets into that, this is what bathes our nervous system, brings nourishment to our nervous system. Then we have toxins in our nervous system. We're dealing with fatigue, anxiety, depression, brain fog, because these things are disrupting how our nervous system functions. Mindset. We all know this. We know that our stressed out mind is going to decrease the nervous system. I was actually reading that people who get chiropractic care are happier, have less, they're less reported anxiety, depression symptoms. So it changes your mindset. It makes you more able to adapt to stress. We highlighted this a few weeks ago. 55% of people report they deal with stress, and the other 45% are lying. Stress is not an option. Stress happens. It's your ability to adapt to stress. But we also have a mindset that we're expected to age as we get sick. Have you guys, was a baby ever born and then we stamp a use-by date on that baby and say, you know what, you have until you're 75 years old until you have to start dealing with joint pain, diseases? No, research has shown that we are meant to last 140 years, our joints, 140 years. You weren't designed to age, you weren't designed for disease. You were designed to thrive and to live an epic life. That's when you start speaking to ourselves. So change your expectations. Don't tell yourself, I'm just gonna get old, I'm not gonna have this experiences in life. Dream big, have big visions for yourself. If you can dream it, you can do it. Tell yourself the truth. This is not falsity. We are self-healing, self-regulating. We're designed to heal, designed for health. Tell your friends this, tell your family members this, because they need hope speaking to them. What happens when people leave this office? You turn on TV, let's say we're looking at the election results or something like that. Every other commercial is going to be telling you what? We're broken, society doesn't work, you need this drug, that drug, you need the next product that's going to be a weight loss supplement, something like that, that you were broken. Who was born with a lack of medication? A lack of surgery? No, you're born perfect, right? Oxygen and exercise. We need to get oxygen to our cells. Our brains thrive off of movement. But we're sitting. We're a sitting sedentary society. So recent research, 6.5 hours per day. Now, it's been linked to all these different diseases here. If you sit for 6.5 hours a day, it doesn't matter how much exercise you do, because the damage has already been done. This is why sitting is known as the new smoking. So you have to set a timer, get up, get movement in, bring your wobble cushion to work with you, do something to get movement in throughout the day. So every 30 minutes, every 20 minutes, stand up, get a standing desk, fiddle around, do something. Do not let yourself subluxate. Wobble cushion. 80% of the nutrition to the brain and the spine is generated by movement of the spine. This takes advantage of this. We need to get movement in throughout the day. Yes, we do recommend twice a day with your home care stuff. But guys, there is no toxic amount of wobbling you could do. If you reach that, I want to give you a gold star because that means you must have just wobbled. I guess you dropped. So bring your wobble cushion with you to work. I'm sure a lot of people are working from home right now. Get your wobbles in throughout the day. There is no minimum to it. More the merrier. Do it throughout the day. We actually have on the sheets here different wobble exercises you can be doing. We can implement those. Just make sure they're safe. If you have any questions with them, please ask us. Joint pain. So the joints, there were two bones meet. How many people have dealt with joint pain before? Remember I said these joints are meant to last 140 years. They're not meant to wear down. This is why we've created the joint health bundle though. Because how many people have lived in a bubble where they haven't had an injury, haven't sat down in school for 8 hours a day, haven't driven in cars, aren't sitting out at work? We put abnormal wear and tear on our joints. Now this joint health stuff's really cool. It's actually got, in school, Dr. Nick, how many supplements get pushed to us in school? What happens is when you're in chiropractic school, all these supplement companies come in and they try to tell you that their supplements are the best and you should be selling X supplement in the office. Joint health is one of the most important ones. Now the Max Living Joint Health Supplement is the most beneficial one I've seen in the market because I study this stuff a lot and it's formulated with all the right nutrients you need. So number one is boswellia. Boswellia comes into your joints and it breaks down any scar tissue, any unnecessary compounds that are in there, so it eats up the bad stuff. Then it's hyaluronic acid in it. That's gonna help rebuild the cartilage, rebuild the fluid within the joints. Then it has a ginger compound, so they took the ginger and they pulled the anti-inflammatory benefits of it and they then created a very concentrated version called gingerols. It has this to decrease the inflammation, promote the new joint fluid, and eat up all the bad scar tissue that's in there already. So I need to take this because I played football for 16 years. I sat in debt. If you guys ever notice my arm here, this is as far as I can turn it due to broken arms. So I need to work on it too. I'm not perfect, so this is the supplement I take for my joint health. Guys, medicine is about disease and what makes people die. Chiropractic is about what makes people live. I remember when I was in chiropractic school, and chiropractic school has turned very medical, I would say. We're learning how to diagnose this disease, that disease. You treat it with this. I remember being stressed out because I was in a cadaver lab, and I'm like, you know what, I'm sick. I was seeing dead bodies all day. This is not what I came to school for. I came to school to be a chiropractor, to see people living to their full health potential. That's what it's all about. Yes, we want to make sure you guys don't have aches, pains, diseases, conditions. But most of all, I want to make sure that we unleash your true health and healing potential. That's what it's about, guys. It's not about making sure that you're free of this ache or that ache, or that you're feeling good. It's about chasing down whatever that epic life is that we have visions for. So guys, next week, we're talking about maximizing nutrition and detoxification process. So we only have 2 weeks left after this. So we're going to implement these nutrition strategies so we can then, when you're eating at, let's say, lunch at work or you're with your family, they're like, what are you doing there? You can tell them exactly why you eat the way you do, and hey, you should be doing the same too. All right, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday mornings with us. The world needs more people like you.
Thank you.